of them, and they are going on yet. And I'm going to surprise you about the next ones that we will have. As soon as we will fix the time, then I will let you know about the future interviews. And I want to also use this chance to introduce myself. Some of you send me messages like, who is this guy who is interviewing our favorite stars? Okay, so today I will explain about it. And of course, today we have time to talk about the previous interviews. I couldn't see your messages or comments while you were in the live. That's why today is a good time that if you want to discuss something about the previous interviews, then today is a good time for doing that. And I try to also cover the questions that you sent me as the reply to the stories. Then I will do my best to cover them as well. Some of them personally I already answered, but those unfortunately I couldn't find time, or they had common answers. So for them, for sure, I will talk about it today. So before I talk about these interviews and say why I'm doing this and which kind of people we are interested for having these interviews, let me tell you about myself, maybe a brief biography of mine. Then you get the sense why I'm doing these things hopefully better. So I was born and raised in Tehran, capital of Iran. So that makes me a Persian. And fortunately, my parents were very open-minded. I was grown up in a very open-minded atmosphere, and I would say I had this opportunity that I had such lovely parents who made it all possible for me to experience different things, to get to know different cultures. In our house all the time, they were watching movies from other countries, and especially The Bold and the Beautiful from the US. So Forrester family is a part of our family somehow. Hey Minzi, welcome here. And that's why I had this chance. And then when I was 16 years old, I could say I was more mature in my mind. I was just a teenager. I was doing silly things, of course, as any teenagers would do. But also I developed things which still influences my present. Like one of them was creating a page, or that time we used to call it a group, in Yahoo. Yahoo was pretty famous, and especially Yahoo pages and Yahoo groups were pretty famous those time. And I was lucky that I had 23,000 followers that time. It was amazing. And after we had, for example, Facebook or other social media, of course, it was very hard for us to transform all of our readers from that page to Facebook pages and other pages that we are having these days. But the idea at that time was to advertise our music band, advertise our writings, because I was writing short novels that time, and during these years I wrote several movie scripts. Hey Hamed, welcome. And that time also I had this idea to become a university teacher. I wanted to teach there, and that's why I needed to have a PhD for that. So that was the first time I came up with this idea that I want to be a doctor. So I started to call myself a doctor so that I push myself to the end that I should get it. So now everyone know me by that name, so for sure I should get it. So that's why I came up with the name Dr. 2M. It is my nickname. Why 2M? Because my first name is Mani, my last name is Mehrai, so I took the first initials, that's why 2M. And why you see 2001? Because that was the time I was 16 years old, and that was the time I founded that page in Yahoo for the first time, and we continued this in my different pages later. That time, if I'm not mistaken, the name was 3FB because that was the name of our music band, and then we changed it to Heart Attack. I don't know if some of you know that page from before. And then I just changed the name Dr. Tuem. I will explain you why we changed it, because one of our music band's member unfortunately committed suicide, and right after it our band just collapsed, and I also decided to just finish that activity that we were having for our music band, and I tried to work solo since that time. I cannot claim that I'm a musician. Comparing to those guys who have bands these days, they are doing great. That's why I'm more, I just focused on my writings since that time. And because I had that goal to get a PhD, then I wanted to start to be a student in a university. Hey, Human. Captain Humi is one of those old members that we had in our page in Yahoo. Hamed also was there, and also his cousin, which inspired us for one of our writings I did with actually Captain Humi or Human. Anyways, so when I was 18 years old, I wanted to go to a foreign country. Hey, Sezgin. Then I wanted to go to a foreign country to start studying statistics or majors I like. And I wanted to go to the United States actually the first time. That time I was in Germany, and we were planning to do that. Unfortunately, September 11 happened, and many people affected by that, and us as Iranians especially, the applications that we had, all of them were rejected because of that reason. And because of that, I returned to Iran. So that's why I started my education there. I got the Bachelor of Science in Statistics there. Then in the year 2010, I moved to Cyprus. So a new chapter of my life started as soon as I started to live in Cyprus. I went to Magusa, or Famagusta, and I studied in Eastern Mediterranean University. And I was lucky to meet very lovely people there, like, for example, Dr. Tut, Professor Bashirov. They helped me a lot. During that time, I started with information system program. I finished my master, and then they gave me a very good job position as a research and teaching assistant there. And I owe it to those guys I just mentioned. And because of that, I stayed in Cyprus. And for 4 years, I stayed in Cyprus. I studied applied mathematics and computer science as a PhD program. It was one of my worst years of my life because of our intensive work. I was working and studying at the same time. I could say I went to the different classes and teaching in different classes. And then as soon as I reached home, then I had to study the whole day because we had a qualifying exam. PhD qualifying exams are pretty tough. And we had to take this exam with those guys who were studying pure mathematics as well. And we had exactly the same topic for our qualifying exam. So it was pretty tough for me to deal with that. And after that, after we passed it, then for 2 years defending our thesis, it took time. And finally, I could finish it in 4 years. And in 2016, it was the time for me to leave the island again and start my career more seriously. Then I decided to come back to Iran because I was really excited to teach in my own native language to my own people from my homeland. It was very exciting for me to do that. And then, unfortunately, in Iran, I had bad experience about the universities. For 1 year, I was teaching in a university which was not in a very good, high ranked, but I met very talented students there. I was very happy with them, and they deserved better education for sure. In Iran, we have pre-university exams, and not all students get for example, the major that they want. They cannot study the major they want to study, and it's pretty hard for them to go through all that pre-university exam. It got easier these days because we had very high population during that period that I was taking that pre-university exam. But still, when you want to get to very good universities in Iran, there are very good ones. Like we have top 10 like Sharif and Tehran University, Mashhad University. They are very good. They are doing excellent. And but the ranking of the world, for example, for Tehran University is about, I think, 400, if I'm not mistaken. And but they are pretty good. We have good professors there as well. But unfortunately, because of the situation, many of them just decide to leave the country. And one of the reasons I could say they are not respecting us. It's true, they keep calling us doctor and professor. In each sentence that they are using, they say thank you all the time. But in practice, unfortunately, they don't respect their teacher. And unfortunately, they are not interested in doing research that much. Of course, there are universities, as I mentioned, they are very good, doing research very good. But that's why I decided again to leave Iran reluctantly, because I prefer to be in the same city with my parents, but I had to leave there. Then I went to Russia, and during those years, I was trying to apply for different countries. And from 2016 to 2019, I applied, I think, for about 400 applications. It's too much, because it's not just for by clicking on a site to apply. No, you should write cover letters. You should ask your professors or supervisors that you had before to write you recommendation letters. And that's why it was not easy to, for example, apply for 400 applications. And unfortunately, I learned very dark things behind these academia applications. And some of them seemed natural, but still, I understood as someone who is in Middle East, it's very tough to get accepted for that. You know, when you apply as a student, it's pretty easy. Anywhere in the world, it's possible to get admission. But when you want to get salary from a country, it's very important. Where are you? Where's your location? For example, in EU, if you are a EU citizen, for sure you will have better chance to get a job in EU. And if you are not, then in Eurozone, again, you have chance to get in EU or not. There are some factors, like they write in their application, if you are female or if you are transsexual, then we prefer you comparing to boys. So this is not a good thing. And I even saw it in practice, because when I didn't get to shortlist and I checked, for example, someone who was just a master graduate got the admission, got the salary for second PhD. But me, for example, during that time, I got articles from 10 to 15 publications. 4 of them were in top journals. And I had my PhD comparing to that master graduate. So you see what I'm talking about. Then they got, for example, a female from Turkey or from Ghana, but without any experience whatsoever. But I didn't even get into the shortlist. So these things were meaningful after 400 applications. And that's what I understood. So everywhere there are some, uh, how to say that, communities, I would say. Like if you are, for example, in Arabic country, if you are from Jordan, again, you have a good chance, for example, in Dubai, in UAE. Or if you are in United States, if you are in Canada, then you have the chance in that area. You see what I'm saying? So these kind of things got kind of regional. That's why I went to Russia. I had very good experience there. I met very respectful scientists there. I was in HSE. This is the fourth best university in Russia, and the ranking is very good. It's usually between 200 to 300 among the all universities around the world. It was very good experience, but unfortunately in Russia they give very low salary to teachers. And even if you are, for example, not from Moscow and you want to teach in Moscow, then it's very hard to survive. Of course, it depends on your lifestyle. If you want to have a, for example, roommate or something like that to decrease your expenditure, maybe you can survive. But for me, I was the only child. So such things is not easy, for example, to have a roommate or something like that. So even if you are not, for example, from Moscow, then maybe it's not a good idea to come to Moscow to become a teacher. But if you are from Moscow and you decide to be a scientist, yeah, it may work for you. The salary is good enough for you. So that's why I again wanted to leave Russia that time. Although I really wanted to stay, I really loved people, loved culture, loved the country. But then I decided again to leave, and then I got accepted for METU, Middle East Technical University. This is the best university in Turkey, and I'm working in the Cyprus campus of that university. So it was a big honor for me. And I was familiar already with the island. I lived there for 6 or 7 years before that. So since 2019, I started working here as an instructor doctor. I'm teaching courses to computer engineering faculty, like statistics or programming languages and this kind of courses. I'm very happy that I'm here. I was before in Famagusta, but now I'm in the western part of Cyprus, in the campus of that university. And I'm very happy with people here. Students are very smart. They are very nice colleagues here. I enjoy communicating with them. Hi, Sanya. Hi, Berk. Very nice to have you guys here. Speaking of Matthew students, Berk also was one of my students, if I'm not mistaken, in one of my statistic courses. Milan, welcome. Your family name sounds Russian to me, but your first name Italian. So I don't know what's the deal. So I don't know, should I say Здравствуйте or something else? Hey Daniel, very nice to have you too. So as I was saying, I started working in METU. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to come back to Cyprus. Cypriot people are very friendly, very kind. Also many Turkish people here, they are the same. And also Greek people in the southern part, they are also very nice people. I was there in Larnaca and Ainapa many years ago, and they're also very friendly, and I enjoy their company as well. Hey, Hot Pixel. Hey, Hanye. So that was all I could say about very briefly about my biography, my life. Of course, you can ask me any question you may have. I wanted to at least doing it once so that those guys who are asking me who you are, at least I will have a video for that, so I can refer it to this one. Now, why I'm doing these interviews? Because as I mentioned, my job is in academia. But since I mentioned you about Dr. Tuam in 2001, then that was my dream to do something in entertainment industry. So this is not something that suddenly happened. So for some of you might be surprised that why suddenly our teacher, for example, is doing these things. No, I was doing these things since I was a teenager. This is the other side of my life. I don't think we should be one-dimensional people. We should push ourselves in different aspects of our lives. If, for example, I was successful in my field, it doesn't mean that my other aspects I'm good at everything. I should work on them too. I should improve myself. I should learn new things. During the last interviews, for sure, you saw I learned a lot from those people. They were experts in their own field. And I think it was also useful for some of you, as you said. So, these interviews, why I am doing them. One part is that it's fun. We all of us got bored because we are isolated because of this corona thing. So obviously, this is one factor. I usually don't have time to have these interviews, but now that we are waiting for the summer school, and then right after it, the fall semester, then okay, this is a good chance for doing these things, and I want to continue them, but not as frequent. But hopefully, I won't stop, and I will do it as much as possible. And how I choose these people, I'm very careful about choosing the people I want to have interview with. They should be either talented or interesting. I don't care if they have 1 million followers or just one follower. If they have Instagram validation or they don't have. If I believe in their talents in their own fields, for sure we will have an interview. Especially the personality is very important for me. You could see that the personality types of these guys that we had interview with, they are very interesting, and they are very good people, really. They are humble and they are very good people. And Hot Pixel is asking, how is the weather? It's hot. It's always hot in Cyprus. We have maybe winter we can not even call it a winter. When you compare it, for example, Russia with minus 30, minus 40 degree in winter time. So we don't have winter here. We don't even have snow in Cyprus. If you remember, I posted a video about snowing in Cyprus. This is a joke because usually we don't have. Maybe in 10 years, I was here altogether 8 years during the last 10 years, and I saw maybe one time snowing here. Hey Hale, welcome here. So yeah, these interviews, if you guys also think you have something interesting to offer, or maybe you are talented in your own field, of course, please let me know. We can have such live together as well. And why I'm also doing this in Cyprus, and why I keep telling things about, for example, promoters in Cyprus. Because Cypriots, they usually prefer to spend all their time by the seaside. You guys, some of you are here. You can talk about if I'm wrong. That they don't really care about international events that much. They like their local entertainments. Like, for example, in Turkish part, in the northern side of Cyprus, you can see there are some Turkish singers, for example, they keep coming to Cyprus. From the Greek side also, we have the same situation. Lots of Greeks are there for singing, for example, in the clubs. But we don't have that much international artists here. And we don't have powerful entertainment industry for international people here. That's why I was trying to somehow introduce those people to you, so that if you are interested in them, we can talk with the promoters to give them a chance as well. Because I know I received very positive comments about those previous interviews, about those artists. Doesn't matter, they are singer, they are actress, they are just teachers. Like, for example, Russian teacher we had, she's very famous at what she's doing. So not necessarily entertainment industry, teachers are like us. We can invite such people to Cyprus, we can learn from them. We can learn, why not? We can have a salsa community. We don't have such things. So I was trying to push uh, somehow Cypriot people so that let's see around the world, and because the world is not just this island, we can have very interesting events in Cyprus. And Cypriots were very nice to me since 10 years ago. They are very good hosts. I owe it to them. I want to do something in return, and I just want to do my part. It's not my job. I'm not in entertainment industry. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional interviewer. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm just trying to do my part. And also, we owe it to our countries that we are coming from. For example, if I'm coming from Iran, then I need to do it for Iranian culture. Time to time with foreigners, we talk about Persian culture. About Middle East culture in general, all people we are in Middle East. In media doesn't show us very good, so it's our job to show to the world that yeah, we are interested in entertainment industry as well. As Tehran also mentioned, in Middle East, our parents wants to push you to get PhD, be engineers, be doctors in hospitals, but we need also more people in entertainment industry, and you can be both. You can get your diploma in university and still be active in art, in entertainment industry. Sezgin asked me how you find them, hocam. By the way, hocam in Turkish means my teacher. If I'm mistaken, please correct me, because sometimes I see in the street people call each other hocam. So I'm a little confused about that, but that's what I understood in the campus. Anyway, so that's the case. I'm also trying to read the comments as much as possible during the interviews. Unfortunately, I can't catch them all. Yeah, so if you guys have any comments about that, I would also, that would be lovely to hear it. And about the previous interviews, hey, Kami Jones, how are you doing? Welcome here. So about the previous interviews, now that we have time, maybe we can talk about them too. If you want, you can tell me your views about those interviews as well, and I would be happy to hear that. For example, for the Belladonna music band, they mentioned that not only you guys are suffering from these days social media, like before we had MySpace, we could easily share our music with other musicians, with the fans. Then it's not possible anymore to do it that easily. Even them, they should have advertisement in order to make it happen for them. It's not that easy anymore. Suddenly, all of a sudden, we have Facebook, and they call that guy genius, and they made a movie Social Network to say, okay, something big happened. No, we had Social Network before Facebook. It was working perfectly, and not only one, we had many. Yahoo had one, Yahoo 360. It was working very good, but they forced him to shut down so that Facebook can shine. Anyway, I don't want to open that chapter. So with Belladonna, we had such interesting conversation. Kami Jones, how are you doing? How is Toronto? Okay, Sezgin is asking something. Yes, it means my teacher, but people sometimes call each other hocam when they don't know each other. So it's a kind of showing respect, if I understood correctly. Right, so about Belladonna, as we say, it was an interesting conversation. And then we moved to Jana from Russian Up channel. These days, many of us are interested in learning new skills. It's a good idea. We are isolated in our houses, so it's a good time to learn skills. And some of us decide to learn foreign languages, and this is good. For example, Russian, you can visit Russian Up page, and you will see there are many interesting videos there for those who are interested in learning Russian. There are other channels too on YouTube. You can also learn a lot from them. And then also we had an interview with Martina. Martina was a talented electric guitarist, and we understood that in some of the bands in their local, they are very famous, they are very talented, but we don't know them. So why not having them in Cyprus as well? That's why these are the things that we are trying to do. Also, it could only happen with your help. That we understand that these guys have fans here in the island, so that we can have such international events happening here more often. So it's nice that we have, like for example, Turkish singers here. We enjoy them too. But why not variety? Why not diversity? We should have that too. And we had that interesting interview with Tehran. We talked longer than we wanted during that interview. We got lots of his time, but it was very interesting. He's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. He's very famous in Persian community. He's also famous in the United States. He's having programs in Laugh Factory, very famous place in Los Angeles, and also some other cities in the US that they have Laugh Factory as well, and stand-up comedians performing there. And it was such a fun interview with Tehran. We even discussed very serious issues with a comedian, and that was enjoyable as well. We talked about these updating things, as Tehran explained, which is happening in movie industry. Like for example, we had Hermione as Emma Watson. As you know, Emma Watson, the appearance of Emma Watson. Then suddenly, in the theaters of London, we have a black lady playing Hermione. So I was asking Tehran, do you think this is ridiculous, or this is actually something good which is happening? And Tehran told me that this is an update that we are doing because we are dealing with white supremacy, and because of that, they tried to make all the famous characters as white people. So this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to have people of color inside movie industry. We give them important roles, so that we make it happen for them. Well, what we had disagreement with each other was that I was saying, for example, when you introduce the role, you should stick to the race of that. For example, if you introduce Black Panther, this guy should be always black. If you introduce Snow White, then it should be the same. If it should be Thor, it should be the same. But Tehran was saying that no, if, for example, we said white Thor, then yes. But in fact, they showed us on TV that, okay, Thor is a blonde guy. So a Chinese guy, for example, won't be Thor. If we want to introduce a hero who is Chinese, why not? This is good. I know that so many Chinese will agree with that, and many people around the world want to have heroes from everywhere. So why not from Middle East? Why we don't have hero from Middle East? So these things should happen for us too. I know a band in my back home, Heart Attack. Kami Jones, thank you for that. Yeah, good days. Good days. We miss those days that we had Heart Attack. Kami Jones actually sang in 12 of our songs, if I'm not mistaken, in Heart Attack. Yeah, we did also hip hop a time, but at first we were doing dance and trance music when we were in TFB music band. Then in Heart Attack, we had alternative rock and also hip hop. And Kami Jones for sure remembers that guy from Diamond Band, Puya it was named, if I'm not mistaken. He was very talented electric guitarist. He's in Australia, by the way, now. He's still in music business, but you and me, we went totally different ways from in this entertainment industry. Martina, welcome. Martina is the one that we had an interview with recently. You can also watch our live together. It was very interesting. She's such a fun character to talk with. And their band is growing. Also, I forgot to ask her about Life is Strange, whether she played that video game or not, because their style is very similar to what's happening, what's the theme of Life is Strange. and Life is Strange 1 and 2, both of them. Not the recent one. The recent one had some differences comparing to those two, but anyway, that was their style, and maybe she will take a look at that one to see how similar is the music there in Life is Strange and the one they are playing in their band. Okay, guys, I think I covered the thing that we talked about. And also we talked with other people. Sorry if I've forgotten, like Cassandra Clark. She's the famous actress in United States. And but it's very hard when you shine in a movie then to get the next part, which is as big as the last one. So of course she has this challenge in her life, but she's doing a good job even now. She's doing theater. Theater is very good and very challenging, and I respect those guys who are into others very much. Yeah, you remember Puya? Yeah. Very fun memories from Puya. Remember how he was singing like Children of Bodom, and we were afraid to look at him while he was singing something related to suicide and something like that. Yeah. I really miss Puya. I found him actually in one of my social media accounts, but I will try to also have a talk with him because he's also very talented. He's a very good electric guitar player. Yes, Suicide Commissions. Yeah. I even forgot how exactly he was saying that, but I remember it was a funny memory. Hey Daniel, welcome back. Yeah, so by the way, you guys, if you want to find my pages, these days I'm active on Instagram. We are having live here. I'm active on my YouTube. You can also follow me there with the same name, Dr. 2M 2001. You can also find it there. And about those movie scripts and short novels that I told you, you can read them for free on my Facebook page, Fictions of Dr. 2M. You can also see that website on the description section of my Instagram, and also on YouTube you can see very useful links. Even the link which connects you to the Yahoo group with 23,000 followers that I was talking about. They are our loyal readers, but unfortunately it's very hard, as I said, to transform them into other social network. But still we have many of our good friends from old times here, and I get really happy to see them also in our lives, like Kami Jones, Captain Humi, Daniel. Love you, all of you guys. I'm happy that you guys are here all the time, supporting our work, supporting me as my good friends. Okay guys, I think I can wrap it up now. I already talked too much. I hope you guys won't get headache, but I guess now you know that what are these interviews, what is my goal here for doing these things, and how you can find our works, and hopefully see you guys in the next interviews. I have lots of surprises for you guys. I will have interview with famous people that for sure you guys know, have memory, but I want to surprise you one by one. I will set up the correct time for both of us, for me and them, so that we can have those interviews. I can't promise that the interviews will remain as frequent as now, because our classes will start from the middle of August. I should teach in I think one at least programming class during summer, because not many students because of Corona are coming. But from fall semester for sure it will be crowded. Even if this Corona is going on, still they will have some quarantine places that for sure they will handle students. If not in online education, still we will make it happen. Okay guys, it was very nice having you guys here, especially with me during this live, so that I wouldn't get bored talking about these things for 1 hour just with myself. I wrote live with Mani Mehrai. Everyone was waiting to see, okay, who is this Mani Mehrai, that there will be a conversation. But no, it was me. Dr. Twim and Mani Mehrai are the same guy. So I was keep talking with myself, and I'm happy that you guys accompany me during this talking with my good friends in Insta and everywhere else that I will put this video. So see you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for listening to this. See you. Bye-bye.